Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, Era the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the WACO Siege 31 years later, as well as the Battle of Lexington and Concord, which has its 240 something odd year anniversary today as well. So, yeah, basically, those that weren't alive during Waco Siege, you basically had a bunch of people called the Branch Davidians, led by a fucking lunatic named David Koresh, who the ATF slash FBI slash Fed boys could have taken at any time when he was out running on a fucking jog every single day of his life. But instead, they waited for him to go back into the compound, which they sieged for over a month and a half, and then killed a bunch of innocent women and children 31 years ago today. Literally over 28 women and children were murdered that day, is what it is. So, most of them were burned alive, by the way. I want to point that one out, because that's what these fucking sick fucks in the ATF do, man. They murder innocent people is what it is, because they're a bunch of sick sons of bitches. And what's even more disgusting about the whole thing is that you had that fucking piece of crap, David, what's his face, who was trying to run for ATF director here a while ago. You had that piece of fucking garbage have the audacity to lie to Congress about what he really did there at Waco, which he was one of the sacks of shit who literally killed a bunch of these kids, dude. So, yeah, bunch of fucking literal fucking Nazi scumbags is what it is, dude. I'm just gonna say it like it is, honestly, at this point. Literally the fucking brown shirt types of the fucking Fed boy government is what it was. Just a bunch of sick bastards is what it is, dude, for real. Bunch of damn sickos. Just absolutely disgusting, tragic, etc. And also goes back to the fuckery of government entirely on that one, and why you never give up your guns to the government. And for those interested, by the way, with the whole Waco Siege thing, is why it really happened, is apparently Koresh himself, who was, kind of a nut, basically, was trying to stockpile weapons, and the ATF was all like, oh, well, we already failed that last time around with the, killing that woman and her, some of her family members at Ruby Ridge. So, might as well just, after we off her and her son and stuff like that, try to get our name back for us now and go kill a bunch of other women and children now in other places. What it is then. Which is what these fuckers did then, dude. They massacred innocent people all the way around at both those events. They killed what's his name's son and wife at Ruby Ridge, and then murdered all these people at Waco. So, yeah, that's what the fucking feds do, dude. They love to murder people, is what it is. Because they're a bunch of pieces of shit in general. And they are the scum of the fucking earth, is what it is, man. Legitimately. Just a bunch of fucking scumbags. Just absolute fucking scum. That's what it is. And that's the problem right now with our society currently, is you have these people that just do not give a shit. They just do not care. And yet we allow them to continue to propagate, continue to do all kinds of sick ass shit, and basically get away with it, dude. And the real question is why at this point, honestly, man. Why are we allowing these pieces of shit to be able to get away with murdering innocent women and children for decades now? And what's even more disgusting is Firearms Policy Coalition pointed out, is how many of these fucking pieces of shit, idiotic morons, are trying to defend the disgusting actions of the ATF 31 years ago. And it's like, bro, like, we are definitely to a point in history where people have taken a side at this point. You're either on the side of liberty and freedom, or you're literally on the side of the fucking Fed boy government at this point, dude, that is a bunch of scumbag ass Nazi motherfuckers. and want to be jackbooted thugs, led by pieces of shit cheaters like Biden and Kamala right now. I obviously bring those two up because stupid bitch Kamala had the audacity earlier today to be like, oh, we're going to close this loophole thing, whatever the case be. It's like, bitch, you don't have the fucking authority to do a goddamn thing, you fucking cheating whore. Number one. Number two, there isn't a fucking loophole, you dumb bitch. It's you fuckers trying to destroy private sales so you can be all Nazi muffins and shit like that and go literally confiscate everybody's shit at the end of the day. And you know what we say to that, Kamala? Go fuck yourself, you fucking dirty cunt dyke. So, because that's what your bitch ass is, you fucking whore. Laying on your back every 5 seconds. Fucking and sucking dudes and chicks both, for that matter. To get to where you fucking are now. So, yeah, eat shit, cunt Mala. But anyway. Where was I at now? Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, it's a bunch of BS entirely, dude. And again, it goes back to what I've said many, many times on these streams. Like, this is exactly why these pieces of shit want to confiscate our stuff so they can have another fucking Waco kind of thing. But the reality of the matter is it's going to be, 1,000 Wacos and 1,000 fucking, at the same day, basically, it'll be, dude. It'll be like 1,000 Wacos in a 24-hour period at some point. That'll be the case then, when they keep trying this crap. Like, they don't realize how quickly it's going to backfire on their asses, and it's going to be fucking, a very, very bad day for them and the people that they're sending to do these things, dude. Which is exactly why pieces of shit like Dick Durbin are trying to do the fucking illegals getting into our military now is what it is, because they're going to be the jackbooted fucking scumbags who have no legal authority to do a goddamn thing, who are going to try to fucking skirt any kind of legal authority of American citizens to steal our shit is what it is, dude. And it's exactly what you're going to lead to fatal encounters in this country then. So, it's all a bunch of shit, honestly, dude. And it's getting to a point right now of history where if things don't change very soon, you're going to see a lot of fucking crazy shit go down in a really quick time span, man. And it's not going to be good for anybody when it does. It's going to be very, very, very bad for everyone across the board when it does. So, and I think that's what they really don't care about is what it is, dude. I think they don't give a fuck about any of it, dude. They're just like, okay, whatever. Like, so be it kind of thing. As long as it's not them being the ones that get fucked up in the melee is what it is, dude. But that's the thing, right? Like, they're going to be the ones getting fucked up in the melee at some point is what it'll be. So, and like I've said on several of these streams recently, like, literally every time a society falls, it's always the morons in power that are rightfully to blame at that point and are always going to be the ones that are going to be looked at to be the blame-e, basically. And they're going to be sitting there being like, well, I'm not to blame. What do you mean I'm to blame? It's like, yeah, you're to fucking blame because you're the ones that cause this goddamn shit. Asshole. Like, we were a better off society without your dumbass fucking stealing shit is what it is, you idiots. So, anyway. But, yeah, that being said, though, it's all a bunch of bullshit, dude. It's all just a way for them to fuck all of us over at the end of the day and to take our livelihood and do everything else against us is what it is, man. And it does kind of bring up something very interesting, which is a meme I saw earlier today, which goes back to the founding of this nation and specifically the founding fathers like your George Washington types, etc. there. And it was specifically this meme right here, which is DOJ is ordering Google to release the names and addresses of YouTube viewers who watch specific videos. And then it's a picture of George Washington saying, to think we once spilled blood over a tax on tea. Yeah, and that's exactly fear citizens, by the way, when you're pulling tyrannical shit like that, man. Because if you actually feared your citizens, you wouldn't be pulling that shit, because you know at the end of the day you'd be in a fucking grave, basically, is what it is, dude. So, anyway. But speaking of grave sites, in 1775, the Battle of Lexington and Concord. This is from the FPC that wrote this today about the whole thing, which was back in the day there. You had Battle of Lexington and Battle of Concord. On this day in 1775, Battle of Lexington, on April 19th, 1775, 400 lobsterbacks under the command of Thomas Gage, British governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, marched towards Concord with orders to seize the gunpowder stores located there. And that's, by the way, another thing. That's when they were trying to push gun control back in those days, dude. When they were trying to seize people's shit. Specifically, they were trying to seize the gunpowder that the founding fathers had sitting in, random places and stuff like that. That's what it was. And as FPC continues on here, it said it was a disarmament campaign, one that served as a prototype for those used by anti-rights despots today. Said instead of waiting for the next colonial election, Captain John Parker and his ragtag group of 77 Massachusetts patriots decided to take matters into their own hands at Lexington. Said emerging from Buckman Tavern, they stopped the British regulators, which, by the way, when that's the one thing people always get wrong when they talk about Paul Revere's ride. They always go with, the British are coming, the British are coming. That's not what he actually said. What he actually said was, the regulars are coming, because at the time they were actually called regulars, is what it was there. Specifically, they're called British regulars, which was the redcoats, basically. But yeah, anyway, so you had John Parker and 77 Massachusetts patriots emerge from Buckman Tavern. So they stopped British regulars as they tried to pass through the town on the way to their goal. Said the side that fired the, quote, shot heard around the world is still a matter of debate, but the observation that it was fired either to enact or stop a disarmament scheme is an undoubtable fact. Said after considering whether to abandon their natural rights for a false sense of security, they stood firm and said, fuck you, no. Said casualties were suffered on both sides, but after the skirmish, British regulars were able to continue their march towards Concord. However, the job of the peaceable patriots, who were fully committed to safeguarding their rights, wasn't over that day. And then they go on to the second part of this, which is the Battle of Concord, which is this one right here. No, sorry, that's one right here. That was the WACO Siege one. It was this one right here, which was part 2 of this thing by FPC here. Says part 2. After the Battle of Lexington, British lobsterbacks under the command of Thomas Gage, Royal Governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, advanced on Concord, the location of the gunpowder stores they hoped to seize. Redcoats succeeded in destroying 3 cannons, 550 musket balls, and 100 barrels of food. Little did they know, American patriots from nearby towns converged upon the smoke rising from the burned supplies. Making their way to the North Bridge, 400 patriots clashed with 100 British regulars. Their rallying cry was clear, fuck you, no. Said overwhelmed by the Patriot militia, the lobsterbacks were forced to retreat back to Boston. Hearing the news, additional militia from adjacent towns swarmed them, firing shots at the redcoats during their retreat. So their actions had one unremarkable purpose: to make clear that Americans wouldn't accept British schemes to violate their natural rights. Gage's scheme failed, and America's spirit of resistance to disarmament was born. So, yeah, pretty cool. And then, of course, like I said earlier, you got the WACO Siege thing here, which was FPC did a thing on that too as well here, which was where they discussed the actual WACO Siege here. It said 31 years ago today in Waco, Texas, the world watched in horror as 76 women and children were burned to death by ATF and FBI agents hell-bent on capturing one man. In the aftermath of destruction, they flew their flag in pride and posed for photos over the ashes of the dead. Make no mistake, they are willing to do this far. Are they willing to go this far? For every small rule and law, this is why we relentlessly pursue lawfare against these jackboots and their handlers. The lives of peaceable people depend upon it. Exactly. And of course, this is actual footage from the Waco Siege. There's what it was, where they were going up in there and then fucking just seizing the place and shit like that. It's just absolutely disgusting. And then, of course, you had those pieces of shit like Janet Reno, who was the Attorney General at the time, lying her fucking ass off about the shit. And yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting, dude. Fucking Janet Reno is one of the biggest scumbags in U.S. history as an AG. She straight up lied about what really happened at Waco. She allowed for ATF agents who murdered innocent women and children, 76 of them respectively is what it was there, to walk free, and not only walk free, but get pensions, etc. And I'd like to point something else out, too, for that matter. The same guy who, I forget what the guy's name is offhand, but it was basically the same jerk-off who fired the fatal shot of, what's his name's wife at Ruby Ridge, is the same fucking asshole who also killed some of the people at Waco. Because he at least sniper shot some dude in the head at Waco, if I'm not mistaken. So, and yeah, particularly with Ruby Ridge, it was Randy Weaver's wife that he sniped out there. And what's even more fucked up too, by the way, is that when they killed Randy Weaver's son at Ruby Ridge there as well, you had them straight up lying and being like, oh, he fired on us first. Yet, meanwhile, the only bullets that were actually found were 9mm in Randy's son. And yet they were trying to claim that Randy supposedly shot his own kid with a 5.56/223. And it's like, yeah, if that had been the case, dude, you would have found a rifle caliber bullet in that kid's body, not a bunch of fucking 9mm rounds, you fucking assholes. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. And again, it's government fuckery all the way around. It's people just wanting to live their lives and be left alone. And yet these fucking assholes want to stick their dick in your fucking punch bowl is what it is, man. Stick their dick in your potato salad is what it is there, you know. If you don't get that reference, you haven't seen Waiting. You know. But yeah, it's just fucked up, man. I like this one. People were talking about the founding fathers of the table there, going over Second Amendment here. It was, are we good on the whole wording of the Second Amendment? So the person saying, I think we should add because fuck you. And then it was the third guy saying, yes, shall not be infringed covers it. Obviously it didn't, because people still fuck around and do the stuff. And that kind of goes back to what I've been saying, what other people have been saying for a while now, which is basically you can't have things in place there and be upheld, you know, actual constitutional rights being upheld here without blood being spilled every so often, dude, is what it is. Without the tree of liberty being refilled from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots. And that's what people always forget, by the way, is that there's always the whole patriot thing as well on that one. So, because it wasn't just tyrants that were killed that day, dude. It was patriots too, for that matter. And throughout history, for that matter. You know, there was a lot of our founders, dude, that didn't make it through the founding of this country. Some of them actually died in that situation and were willing to die for their causes. Unfortunately, far too few nowadays are willing to take that same leap, is what it is, and would rather just sit there and you know, fuck over others, or, you know, fuck everybody else, I got mine kind of stuff is what it is there. And it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. So And then, of course, you got Antifa that was trending here on X this morning because you had some dipshit who decided to set himself ablaze Johnny Storm style, Human Torch, do what need to be done there. And claiming that he was basically doing it for, to like shed light on some bullshit over the case be. Turns out the guy's 100% Antifa, and as Libs TikTok pointed out here a couple hours ago, you have specifically. Yeah, it said this truck allegedly belonged to this Max guy who lays himself up today in New York City. Keeps getting scarier, and then it was basically, what did this truck actually say? It said Trump is with Hillary. They're about to fascist coup against us, etc., etc. He also said some other crazy shit too that was all like Antifa lit and stuff, which is crazy too, because I guess there's like photos of the guy with like Bill Clinton potentially from back in the day, which the thing about it is though, like who's to say that that's not like AI deep fakes for that matter, because again, like everything going on right now, it's like hard to believe what's actually in front of your face anymore. But yeah, the guy definitely sounded like a lunatic leftist nut, basically is what it is. And the thing is, like, if you really believe that there's like something going to happen, dude, and it's like you want to ring the alarm bells for it, like doing that is not setting yourself on fire, dude. You could have got just as much fanfare outside the Trump trial, or whatever the case be. You just had a giant ass bullhorn in one hand and a big ass fucking sign in the other hand, like a placard type of sign, or whatever the case be. That just said some shit about like, hey, I have proof that like these people are about to do like a fascist coup or whatever worldwide kind of thing or something. And I guarantee some people would start believing you. They would be like, okay, where's the paperwork? Where's the info on this shit or whatever the case be, bro? And yeah, you would actually have that dude have been believed or whatever the case be. And as people are pointing out, they said from what they found out, said this Max guy was a Bernie Sanders follower. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Somebody else said this is what people with mental health issues do to their shit. Yeah, there's a picture of the guy. Has a Bernie Sanders shirt on. So, and as somebody pointed out to me earlier today, it might have been something to do with the fact that, given that the other Antifa dipshit, that was the military guy, did the same thing outside of the Israel embassy for Palestine kind of crap. Like that might be the fact that it was that whole kind of deal or whatever the case be, dude. So anyway, yeah. And then meanwhile, we gave those fuckers in Ukraine another set of money today because a bunch of goddamn rhinos sold their fucking souls to the devil. Is what it is. Including at least 3 or 4 Trump-backed guys here in Ohio, being Mike Carey, Troy Balderson, Max Miller, and I'm trying to think who the other one was now. Let's see, Balderson, Carey, Miller. I want to say, I'm trying to think now. I don't think Mike Turner was Trump-backed. Can't remember if Bob Letta was or not. Brad Wissop, I think that's who it was the 4th guy, actually. But yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking scumbag ass sellouts is what it is, dude. But yeah, you got this one here. Ukraine says corrupt officials stole $40 million meant to buy arms for the war, and that was as of January this year. Yet meanwhile, they had the fucking government come together and give them another $60 billion aid package today. We all know that money's going to people's pockets, dude, at this point. And I personally am just sick and tired of it, man. I think everybody else is too, for that matter. And I think we're definitely on a precipice right now in history where shit's about to go real south real quick for a lot of motherfuckers, dude, very soon. So, on a more lighthearted note, though, you got old fuckface pedophile Joe Biden talking on, what was this on last night? This was on a Fox News thing last night where Biden said, I never thought I'd see a sign when I'm going through a rural town and I see big signs that say F Joe Biden. Happens to me all the time. And then he was also talking about little kids giving the middle finger. Happens to him all the time as well. So it's like, yeah, what the fuck do you expect, dude? You stole a presidency. You're a fucking active child molester. You're a dementia-ridden old fuck piece of shit. You're an absolute and total tyrant criminal. You have fucked over this country for 3 years because fucking Republicans are too much of a bunch of chicken shit pussies to remove your fucking cheating ass from office is what it is. So, yeah, and the list just goes on and on and on from there, dude, is what it is. So, and that's the problem with everybody right now, dude. It's like, you know, it would be one thing if we actually had, like, good society again. And people were willing to do what they needed to do to remove cheaters from office, but they're not willing to do that anymore, dude. They're willing to allow this piece of shit to steal a fucking presidency, hold on to it for almost 4 fucking years, and then go from there, bro. Instead of just removing him by force from office for high treason. Same thing with his fucking idiotic wannabe VP. And then simply all the people that were in Congress at the time that certified this asshole's cheat, remove them again for high treason, charge them with the crimes accordingly, you know, give them their day in court. Obviously, they'd be found guilty eventually, and go from there, basically, is what it is. But instead, we're allowing these people to remain in office, we're allowing them to remain to hold office, run for office, etc., instead of actually dealing with the fucking problem entirely in this country, which is a fucking bunch of assholes who do not belong in power, have never belonged in power, and it's a bunch of bullshit, dude. It's a bunch of fucking scumbag fuckery is what it is, dude. I don't know what the fuck this was, but they said something about something living in these people's porch. The hand coming down looks like a damn wolf man, basically. So unless it's like an actual like dog man or something like that, dude, like I don't know, bro. Actually, going back to the how protest does work legitimately here. This is actually kind of a heartfelt story today in this whole thing, kind of going back sort of to the Lexington Concord stuff that is there. 5 West Virginia middle school girls refused to compete at track meet to protest trans-identifying player. And then Gays Against Rumors said, we're incredibly proud of these girls for standing up to the right to have their own space in sports. It's heartwarming that it's heartbreaking it has to happen this way. But unfortunately, this is the only way we're going to show the world how wrong it is to let biological males invade female spaces. Queer theory and gender ideology is erasing women's rights and putting young girls in danger. Stop the madness. So yeah, what happened was you had a fucking middle school piece of shit claimed to be a fucking female who is obviously biological male, compete in like the shot put thing, whatever it is, and you had all these chicks that were like, no, fuck you, dude. Get the fuck out of our fucking space, bitch. So, and I think honestly, like what they're really doing, truthfully speaking, is they're actually making it so that you're going to have Gen Z, or really, I don't think it's Gen Z per se, because Gen Z is, well, it's hard to say because there's like different parts of Gen Z that are like age gap wise and stuff like that, but I think it's more like Gen Alpha at this point, that they're just turning into like hardcore fucking conservatives and like pro-life kids and stuff like that. That's what it is, dude. So, but yeah, I watched that video of the Human Torch guy in front of the Trump trial there today, and it's obviously you can find it on X still what it is, dude. But it's like the blurred behind like sensitive content thing, whatever the case is now. And like I'll tell you what, bro, like it's pretty wild. It's like 5 to 10 seconds in or something like that. He just fucking lights up basically because I think what it was is he had already poured like gas or some kind of accelerant on himself, whatever it was there. And then, yeah, you just see like about 5, 10 seconds in the video, he just like strikes the match or the Zippo or whatever it is there. And it's just like immediately. And I'm actually shocked because this dude is walking around on fire legitimately for about 10 to 15 seconds, give or take, maybe a little bit longer, not even. before he finally like succumbs to like, burning alive, basically is what it is. And then, drops to his like legs or to his knees first, and then like his back is what it is after that, and just like writhing in pain, obviously. And it was around this time, about like almost a minute into the video, is what it is there, where you got like some random dudes running over with their jackets to like throw on this guy and like put his ass out. And of course, they had like a couple people with small fire extinguishers, like little ones like that, is what it was. And they were just like spraying it to like spray him off, basically, is what it is, dude. And it's like, the thing about that is, and Corey and I were talking about this earlier today, actually, we were on the phone together. Because he was mentioning about his time as an EMT and stuff like that, and like knowing what happens to these guys and stuff like that. Because apparently this dude is still alive, I guess, in critical condition currently. And the thing is, like, that would be such a horrible way to die, dude, because, your skin, obviously, after the fact, is going to blister like fucking crazy if you make it out of that, obviously. And then you're going to have all kinds of other stuff where it's going to be them debriding your skin and like taking off like the dead layers and shit like that. And it's just like, yeah, it's just, oh my God, bro. Like, I don't know what would be worse, man, like doing that to begin with, or having to suffer the consequences of the after effects and stuff like that. Like, if you actually did live for like any amount of time, really is what it is, dude, because it's like I said, you got blistery skin, you got fucking, all kinds of like dead flesh and like debriding stuff going on there. And it's just like, whew, man, talk about living your last hours on this earth in agony, dude. Like, it's not worth it, bro. It really isn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, all these dudes like that are obviously just fucked in the head, is what it is. And that's what I'm assuming anymore, like with any of that kind of stuff, dude. Like, if we're going to be talking about any of these people and stuff, dude, that are doing like Human Torch kind of shit, I just assume that there's some left-wing nut at this point, honestly. And it turns out that both these guys were both the dude that did the shit in front of the Israeli embassy there in Washington, D.C., and then this fucking guy did it in front of Trump trials, what it is, dude. So, yeah. I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more often, to be honest with you, but I think a lot of it is going back to the whole chicken shit people is what it is, dude. I think there's a bunch of people that are too chicken shit pussy on the left to actually blaze up is what it is, dude, and become the Human Torch is what it is then. So, but I don't know, man, it's just all fucked up though either way. And either way on that one, I'm getting kind of tired right now. I was hoping Corey or Muffin Top or somebody would jump in on this stream, but I'm getting to the point where my eyes are about to shut, honestly, because I am fucking exhausted. I have slept like shit the last 2 days, honestly, man. My fucking left hip right now, that whole area, like the hip, back joint area is what it is there, because my chiropractor hasn't been in the office to give me a what you call it out on my right hip. If it goes long enough, it basically shifts over to my other hip is what it is then, like completely throws off my balance entirely. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I've gone too long without an adjustment then from her. And it's basically fucking up my entire hip joints on both joints is what it is then. So, yeah, I think one of the biggest things I'm going to do after I get some money in here, depending on if I can get, because my aunt brought up the fact of like, oh yeah, there might be, mice shit going on in the fucking comics over there, whatever the case be. And it's like, I really hope they didn't get into my comics, dude. I'd be so fucking pissed if that happened, honestly, because it would have been, books worth like $1,000 more or something like that for like 5, 6, 7 books there, whatever. To like maybe now it's going to be worth a couple $100 because possible mice got into the shit and fucked with them or whatever the case be, then, which would really suck. Like, I was just thinking about the spiders over here, thinking about the fucking rodents and stuff like that. But I don't really think that, I'm not really sure that the mice have really got over there is what it is, dude, thankfully. But, hopefully they didn't. And hopefully none of the moles did either, for that matter. But I guess we'll find out here in a couple of days is what it is then. But, yeah, anyway, hopefully my books are pretty much intact over there. And if I can get the money out of them, obviously one of the things I want to do would be get an activator gun then from the internet then, because like I said, I think mostly there's stuff I could do to myself right now, like to my side area and like joints and stuff like that. And then of course in like the joints of my arms and shit that would actually need to get like popped every so often is what it is, and give them like a good like, knock whatever it is there, like off and on. And then like maybe my neck area I could like, pop here and like pop in the back and stuff like that is what it is then. And I know there was one I saw recently where it was a chiropractor actually giving one to some girl. It was like right here in the forehead groove or whatever the case be, which I thought was interesting. And maybe that would help me out too, because I know I'm having like sinus issues lately and stuff like that. Maybe that would help my sinus issues. I don't know. But either way, I feel like I could definitely give myself some adjustments that are definitely necessary at this point then. And the one thing I would definitely do with an activator gun myself, if I had one on hand, would be I would give myself adjustments specifically in the foot, in the bottom of the foot is what it is, because that's one thing she does not do, and that's one thing that the guy who created the damn thing actually always did back in the day. As well as with him, he would actually just start at like the top of your spine, then go all the fucking way down, and just be like ding, 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 like 57 times, whatever it was there. And it would be all the way from the neck, top of the neck to the fucking tailbone, and then basically out the tailbone is what it was then. And I think that's the problem with her. She needs to do it a lot more than she does, and unfortunately, she's not doing that. And we've gotten into this discussion before where it's like, oh yeah, if I do too much, it's not going to do anything, or whatever the case being. It's like, yeah, if you're not doing enough, it's not going to do anything either, lady. Like, what the fuck? There's a happy medium there someplace. And it's like, if I'm telling you, like, yes, I need like, 5, 6, 7 more hits, whatever the case be, then hit me fucking 5, 6, 7 more times, whatever the fuck I tell you to stop, basically, is what it is then. So, anyway. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get back to her pretty soon is what it is then, next week and a half or so, give or take. And then speaking of people though who are just not doing their jobs, or just kind of just Democrat scumbaggery in this country is what it is again. You got piece of shit Brandon Scott, who is the Baltimore mayor and a known fucking black supremacist, fucking diversity hire, etc. There. You got this dude saying racism is alive and well in Democrat Party. Baltimore is a shithole for a reason. Baltimore dipshit mayor Brandon Scott says he will give direct COVID relief funds to go towards, quote, non-white art organizations. Like, what a fucking piece of shit, dude. I swear to God, dude, every white art organization in that city and every just white organization, period, needs to sue the fuck out of that asshole for stealing for being theft of funds and shit at this point, dude. And take that motherfucker Brandon Scott to the goddamn cleaner, dude, once and for all. And be like, let's go, Brandon, straight to jail, you piece of fucking shit. So, anyway. Actually, we will leave off today with a heartwarming story right now, which is this story right here, which is a quote-unquote Karen wanted kid to stop selling candy, so random guy buys it all from his ass. Good on that guy, man. Good on that dude, buying every bar that this kid had on him, then if it was here then. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't understand how you could basically tell somebody, like, oh, you can't sell here, whatever the case be, dude. It's like, oh, really? Is there a fucking no soliciting sign, bitch? Because if there's not, then go fuck yourself. So, actually, that was one thing my sister and her friend told me about when they visited New York City. It was about 7, 8 years ago now, probably. And they were on the subway train, and all of a sudden, because they're sitting there just fucking around or whatever, I think my sister was on her phone texting somebody to do something or whatever it was there. And then her friend was like not really paying attention either because she was like busy reading a book or something, if that be the case, or reading like a guide manual or something like that for like sites to see in the cities or what it was, something like that. And all of a sudden you hear this dude, you hear like a loud voice come up and be like, ladies and gentlemen. And they're like, oh my God, we're about to get robbed or whatever. And it turned out that it was like this young guy who was like probably like mid to late teens, honestly, who was like, I just want to inform everybody, I don't want to steal, and I don't really have any money because I'm homeless. However, what I do have is all this candy for sale, which, who's to say how he got that candy? He might have stolen the candy, honestly, for all we know. But he's like, yeah, I have all this candy for sale. Like, don't make me become a drug addict and get back on the streets here, whatever the case be. Like, please help me out and get me a meal tonight or whatever the case be. Or something. I forget exactly what it was. Something like that is what it was. It was like, I don't want to be a drug addict. I don't want to be home. That's what it was. He's like, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be a thief. Don't want to be a drug addict. Like, please help me, pay my bills basically. And he was like going around and like selling like candy bars to people. And like, there was some other stuff he had in his little kit of stuff is what it was there. So it was like candy bars and then like gum and stuff like that as well. for like, you know, $1 a piece or a couple bucks a piece, depending on the candy bar and stuff like that. That's what it was then. And my sister and her friend are like, you know what? Like, yeah, it's a little more expensive than we would like to pay for, but, you know, let's give the kid a couple dollars over the case be and get a bar or something. And that way they were helping him out is what it was then. So, and he ended up making like, I think quite a bit of money that one car is what it was then, because I think they said he walked away with like 60, 70 bucks, something like that. And then of course he went to the next car down the line is what it was then and did the same thing as what it was then. So yeah, he was definitely making bank that day is what it was, dude. And I'm assuming that was probably his shtick for like most of the week, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, I mean, the thing is, we can get some kind of a discount there. I'm not saying like, you know, stealing shit or whatever the case be, but I'm saying like if you can get like a, you know, discounted rate or something like that for like bulk buy stuff or whatever the case be, and then you turn around and you sell it for like X amount of dollars more than you paid for it. Like, yeah, if you're making profit off of it, dude, like might as well fucking, you know, do that kind of thing and stuff. And it's like, be legitimately true. It could just be him being like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna, can't really have a regular 9 to 5, whatever the case be, because of like reasons or whatever. But it's like, yeah, if I can make this money here on the subway, you know, selling candy and stuff like that, might as well, dude. So now, granted, you have other people come up there and try and fuck with them, I'm sure, because they'd be like, oh, where's your fucking vendor's license kind of thing or something like that, or some stupid bullshit like that. And you have like cops being just assholes in general, what it is then. So, you know, there's pros and cons to everything right now. And it's just, you know, it is what it is. But anyway. Yeah, it's nice to see some heartwarming stories like that, dude, where people are going to be pieces of shit towards like kids or teens or whatever the case be. And like, it's like, okay, well, fuck you then, woman. Like, I'm just going to buy everything from this kid and there you go. Like, he's not going to sell anymore then because he's selling it all to me. Then if that be the case then. So, anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will be back tomorrow for a Stand Your Ground Saturday where we actually discuss the 25th anniversary of the Columbine Massacre is what it is, and how it could have been stopped, how it could have been prevented, how it actually led to more and more gun control in this country, even though it happened during one of the biggest gun control shit stains in this entire country's history, which was the unconstitutional assault movement in 1994 at the time, going all the way to 2004, and it happened literally direct middle of that in 1999, which is the same year the Fight Club came out, by the way. So, yeah, we'll be discussing all that good stuff tomorrow, and I'm not sure exactly what time it'll be. It'll be about maybe 7 o'clock my time, so it'll be 7 p.m. Eastern, maybe 6 Pacific, and then it would be 4 o'clock, you know, West Coast time is what it is then. Or if we'll do it a little bit later on then, maybe after NEA's Saturday Geek Chat thing or something like that, maybe we'll do it after that. If that'll be the case, it'll be maybe like 10, 10:30, something like that, or something along those lines, depending. It all depends on how good I'm feeling tomorrow and how, you know, awake I'm feeling or whatnot. So it could be way earlier, it could be like way later kind of thing, or whatever the case be then. So who knows? But either way, that being said, that's where we're at for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Catch y'all on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, all that good shit. Always be carrying with one in the chamber because you never know if today's going to be the day you're going to have to get this self-defense encounter. And you're never going to have time to load that gun if you do. So it's really as simple as that. And make sure that obviously whenever you are in a life and death situation, that you are not on the end of a fucking government barrel because you never know what's going to happen, dude. And government is fucked up. They will kill you. They will literally genocide you for their own fucked up endgame is what it is. When they literally could have taken the guy that was the leadership of your fucking faction, whatever it was there, dude, into custody days and days before that, anywhere from weeks up to like weeks before that, honestly. But yet instead, they just chose to let Koresh go back home and then basically use it as a prelude to be like, okay, we're going to go take out everybody now kind of thing. And yeah, you literally murdered like over 70 fucking women and children, you sick pieces of shit in the ATF. Go fucking fuck yourselves. The fact that none of you cocksucking pieces of shit agents were ever brought up on any kind of fucking literal mass genocide / death penalty sentence is exactly what's wrong with our country currently. And it's a bunch of bullshit all the way around, dude, is what it is. It's just like the same thing with the fucking 4473s entirely in this country. It's like, no, fuck that bullshit, dude. It's done. We're done here. end of fucking story kind of thing. So anyway, but yeah, that being said, though, like I said, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Later.